It's a ground attack aircraft designed in the 50s for the United States Navy. The A-4 Skyhawk was produced by the Douglas Aircraft Company and later by McDonnell Douglas. Conceived by the famous aeronautical engineer Ed Heinemann, the design of this aircraft is a very good example of simplicity as a virtue. 60 years after its first flight, and having played key roles in the Vietnam War, the Yom Kippur War, and the Falklands conflict, of the nearly 3,000 Skyhawks produced, only a few are in service in some countries. The development of the A-4 was done in record time, which allowed it to enter into Vietnam, and it performed a prominent role in support of ground units with the ability to take off from aircraft carriers. Welcome to a new video. This is the World of Aviation's Aeropedia. The A-4 was designed in response to a call from the United States Navy for a jet attack aircraft. To replace the old Douglas A-1 Skyrider, also a famous propeller plane that participated in Vietnam, Heinemann opted for a design that minimized its size, weight, and complexity. The result was an aircraft that weighed only half of the weight specifications given by the Navy. Its wing was so compact that it didn't require folding for transport on aircraft carriers. In 1954, the first prototype appeared, called X-AD-1, with a single turbojet in the rear of the fuselage, and with two air intakes on the sides and a low delta wing. It was a single-engine, single-seat design with Allen Delta, powered by a Pratt & Whitney J52 turbojet, which was also later used by aircraft such as the ACI Intruder. It had a maximum takeoff weight of 11,100 kilograms and could operate within a radius of 1,100 kilometers with internal fuel tanks. Its top speed was 147.849 miles per hour. The armament consisted of two 20mm Colt cannons in each wing root, and it had 5 attachments for carrying up to 5,000 kilograms of weaponry. The wing slats are designed to automatically release at the appropriate speed. At lower speeds, like during takeoff or landing, they deploy to provide extra lift. At higher speeds, they retract to reduce drag. And the 4 was also designed to be able to make emergency landings in case of hydraulic failure in the landing gear. Regarding its 2 external fuel tanks, almost always carried by these planes, these landings only caused minor damage in the aircraft's test, which can be repaired in less than an hour and discard the fuel tanks deformed by the emergency landing. The A-4 Skyhawk entered service in the United States Navy in the year 1956. 2 years later, they entered combat in Operation Blue Bat in Vietnam. The Navy and Marine Corps A-4s carried out ground attack missions, tactical support, interdiction, suppression of air defenses, and even air-to-air combat, always taking off from aircraft carriers. In the late 60s and 70s, the Israeli Air Force's Skyhawks were the primary ground attack aircraft in the War of Attrition. And in the Yom Kippur War, It cost a quarter of a Phantom II and carried more bombs over longer distances than the Dassault Mirage 3 fighters it was going to replace there. In 1965, the Argentine Air Force bought a batch of 50 A-4Bs from the United States Navy. They would be the first aircraft of the Air Force with in-flight refueling capability. Between 76 and 78, 25 A-4Cs arrived in the country. The difference between an A-4B and a 100 like the one we see here is that the latter is an all-weather variant of the former, with an APG-53 autopilot radar low-altitude bombing system and a more powerful engine. The Argentine Navy bought a batch of 16 modified A-4Bs, designated A-4Q, to operate from the Armada de la República Argentina 25 de Mayo aircraft carrier. In total, during the conflict, the A-4B and 100 made 282 combat sorties with the loss of 19 aircraft. Once the war was over, those planes that survived the conflict were modernized under the Alcohol project with 30mm cannons and air-to-air missiles. Subsequently, they were retired from service in 1999 and replaced by a batch of 36 A-4 AR Fighting Hawk modernized by Lockheed Martin. But these will have their own video. At the end of the 90s, the Brazilian Navy acquired 23 aircraft for operations aboard its A-12 aircraft carrier, São Paulo. The Skyhawk remained in production until 1979 with a total of 2,960 aircraft built, including 555 two-seater aircraft for instruction. This is the first video I make of Aeropedia, and it is the new format that I will use, with the aircraft that I can film from museums or aerial jobs, trying to show you my own footage. And for other aircraft that I can do it, will there be more photos than videos due to copyright issues? I hope you like it. I also look forward to your comments to see how this new stage works. Until a new video from the world's Aeropedia. Diego de Sion, thank you.